ครับ Good evening and very welcome to Thai PBS English News Service. I'm Subhajong Klinsawan, and it's been another hot day in Thailand, and in Pisanulok Province's Nakhon Thai district, you can literally see the ground burst into flames. However, the Department of Mineral Resources is saying that the hot weather is not the main cause of this natural phenomenon. Locals in the northern province of Pisanulok gathered at a hillside area in Nakhon Thai district and threw rocks at the ground to see flames apparently burst out of the ground. They believe that this is due to the hot weather. However, Tinakorn Nathong, a geologist from the Department of Mineral Resources, says the phenomenon is the result of methane gas escaping from the underground in that area. This continuous burning is not due to the hot weather and will end in less than a week. The area has now been declared off-limits by the Disaster Prevention Unit in Pisanulok Province since the levels of carbon dioxide and sulfur dioxide is dangerously high. Meanwhile, in Bangkok, the Railway Authority had some of its staff water the tracks near Wat Samien Nari along Vipawadi Rangsit Road, as the track is clearly seen bending due to the scorching heat. So far, though there have been no reports of disruptions to services, the area of warped track, which Thai PBS captured on camera, is not so far from the area where a tanker train transporting bunker oil derailed 2 days ago. Meanwhile, the hot weather has also forced firework factories across the country to move the stock out of their warehouses, fearing a repeat of the explosion in Udon Thani. While many local roads across the country, like this one in Uttaradit, are cracking due to the expansion of steel reinforcement rods under the surface, also due to the continuous hot weather. Meanwhile, in Chiang Mai Province, mahouts are taking their elephants for a bath to cool them down, as well as preparing extra water along the elephant routes. It's been 2 weeks since this year's Songkran festivities, yet Prime Minister Yingluck Shinawatra and 3 Deputy Prime Ministers met Privy Council President Prem Tinasulanont at his residence for a Rot Nam Dam Hua ceremony to pay respect to him for the Thai New Year. The government claims that today's visit has no political agenda whatsoever. Despite Songkran finishing 2 weeks ago, today Prime Minister Yingluck Shinawatra and Deputy Prime Ministers Yongnyut Vichaydit, Kitirat Naranong, and General Yuttasak Sasiprapha, all wearing pink and carrying garlands and bouquets, went to Gen.Prem's residence at Sisao Tewet to perform Rot Nam Dam Hua, a traditional ceremony to pay respect to elders and seek their blessings. The media were not allowed inside. Gen.Prem Tinasulanont is accused of being a main influential figure behind the 2006 coup. The general has always denied such claims. Deputy Prime Minister Yongnyut insists that the meeting today is a good sign of reconciliation and has no political agenda. He sees that Gen.Prem is a statesman who should be respected by the government. While former Prime Minister General Surayut Julanont, who is also a Privy Councillor, says that the Rot Nam Dam Hua ceremony is simply to seek blessings from the elders, and it's possible that the meeting between the cabinet members and Gen.Prem had no hidden agenda. They spent about 1 hour inside Gen.Prem's house, and the Prime Minister and Gen.Prem were reported to have had a private chat for about half an hour. Their conversation is believed to have been about ways to achieve reconciliation, while some political experts suggest family issues may also have been raised. As some members of the cabinet are core leaders of the Red Shirt movement, which obviously supports former Prime Minister Thaksin Shinawatra and is clearly seen as standing against Gen.Prem. The meeting between the incumbent PM and Gen.Prem today could call into question of the unity within the cabinet. Meanwhile, in downtown Bangkok, Red Shirt supporters conducted a memorial ceremony at Ratchaprasong intersection for people who died during the political unrest in 2010. The family of deceased political victims attended the ceremony to share their opinions about the political crisis. A new drug-resistant malaria strain found near the Thai-Myanmar border is threatening global efforts to control and eradicate the disease, according to the World Health Organization. Here's more with Kun Hugh Adams.
According to the World Health Organization, or WHO, malaria deaths have actually been declining in many parts of the world. but the campaign to eradicate the disease is at risk from a new strain of drug-resistant malaria found along the Thai-Myanmar border. The WHO is seeking additional research funding. The latest clinical tests on people infected with the new strain and treated with artemisinin, the most effective drug currently available to fight the disease, confirmed that it was becoming resistant. Eva Christoffel, a malaria expert, says that in most malaria cases, people are freed of the parasite in their blood after only 3 days of taking artemisinin. That in those people who were infected with the new strain, the reaction to the drug was much slower.
Unfortunately, we are at a tipping point because of the emerging threat like insecticide resistance and resistance to anti-malarial drugs, in particular resistance to artemisinin. Artemisinin today are the drugs that are in all combinations that are recommended by WHO to treat malaria, uncomplicated malaria. And the problem is, since this drug is in all combination, if we lose artemisinin, we are putting in danger the very little number of partner dogs that we have.
The WHO first issued a warning about the threat of artemisinin resistance in the Greater Mekong sub-region in 2005, after routine efficacy studies showed that the parasite was taking longer to clear from the bloodstream of patients. The first cases of confirmed artemisinin resistance were found in western Cambodia along the Cambodia-Thailand border in late 2006. Following this, in early 2007, the WHO convened a meeting of partners which resulted in the development of the Artemisinin Resistance Confirmation, Characterization and Containment Project, or ARC3, funded by the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation. Bill Gates, of course, being the founder of Microsoft. Hugh Adams, Thai PBS.
Thank you, Kun Hugh. Southern security officials found gas cylinders and urea-based substances following a raid at a Bondoc school in Pattani province. The raid came 2 days ahead of the anniversary of the Kruse massacre. After 8 hours of intense searching following a tip-off, police and soldiers found 28 cylinders of LPG gas and bags of urea, common items for building bombs used in the Deep South. Officials will check the items for fingerprints. The raid came just 48 hours before the April 28th anniversary of the Kruse massacre 8 years ago. In the incident, more than 30 people were killed in the Kruse Mosque, one of the oldest and most sacred mosques in Thailand's troubled Deep South. When comparing the upward adjustments in transport fares and the rise in fuel tariffs, most people say that the latter, which drives up electricity bills as well, will have a greater impact, as electricity is a basic utility that is in constant demand. Meanwhile, the Prime Minister orders related agencies to help alleviate the public's concerns. Prime Minister Yingluck admits that she shares the public's concern on having to shoulder the higher cost of living arising from an increase in utility prices and transportation fares. She has now ordered the Energy Ministry, the Interior Ministry and other economic-related ministries to find measures to help ease the pain. Still, the government's help may not cover all groups, and the vulnerable and those with low income will be the assisted first. Some citizens say that the increase in fuel prices will only further aggravate the already escalating cost of living, which they want the government to get under control, especially electricity, given that it is a basic utility and particularly important during this period of scorching hot weather. Meanwhile, this lady comments that she understands a rise in minimum wage. Prices for transport have also on the rise, since she is willing to pay the new rates. Meanwhile, this gentleman says that utilities, including electricity and water, are the major cost for most households, and so the government needs to control them. However, he disagrees with the increase in transport fares and electricity prices and believes that the government has ways around this. Meanwhile, this local at Sapan Mai says that she is not affected by the increase in bus fares because motorcycle taxi fares are many times higher. In addition, some citizens note that products which impact the cost of living the most are vegetable oil, poultry, and fresh vegetables. Even though the minimum wage has been raised to 300 baht per day, their salaries are still not enough to cover the accelerating price in expenses. The Center of Economic and Business Forecasting projects that a minimum wage of 300 baht is still not enough to cover the escalating cost of living. Meanwhile, the center predicts that consumer spending on Labor Day this year will peak at 1.8 billion baht, the highest in recent years. The Center of Economic and Business Forecasting of the University of Thai Chamber of Commerce reports that on Labor Day this year, which falls on May the 1st, around 1.8 billion baht will be spent as employees go on their holiday break. This figure is an impressive 11% increase from that of last year and the highest in recent years. The reason behind such robust consumer spending lie in the recovery of the economy and the implementation of the 300 baht minimum wage. Yet, the center says that the appropriate daily minimum wage should be no less than 356 baht, which more accurately reflects the current economic situation, and in 5 years' time, the minimum wage should reach 435 to 546 baht. Despite the higher salaries, however, some people continue to worry about the soaring cost of living, and more than 50% of the surveyed participants were not confident about the stability of their jobs. The issues that they most want the government to tackle are to control commodity prices, stimulate the economy, solve unemployment, raise the quality of welfare benefits at work, and increase the minimum wage to properly reflect the cost of living. The upheaval surrounding the leading Muay Thai superstar Buakhao Pramukh is getting even intense after Pramukh camp sued him and 4 others for an overwhelming 100 million baht. Viwat Sang Suriya Chat, lawyer of the Pramukh camp, filed a lawsuit against 5 defendants, which included Sport Art Company, Wisnuk Amanan, Thirawat Yiu Yim, Sombat Banchamek or Buakhao, and the Sports Authority of Thailand. The camp is asking for a 100 million baht in damages, alleging Buakhao breached a contract after the superstar made a fight appearance at the recent Thai fight in Pattaya. The lawyer also said that he has submitted a legal suit to have the contract between Buakhao and Sport Art Company for Thai fights events nullified. Apart from the 100 million baht claim, the Pramukh camp is also asking the court to issue an injunction to prohibit Buakhao from making money through boxing fights or commercial appearances. In response, the Senate Committee on Sports called on representatives of the Sports Authority of Thailand and Sports Art Company to provide information about the case. The committee found both the Pramukh camp and the Sports Authority of Thailand distorted laws to benefit their own interests. However, the Pramukh camp affirms that it is willing to negotiate, including talks with Buakhao. Likewise, the Sports Authority of Thailand is attempting to set up an open dialogue between the camp and the Muay Thai superstar. The agency is also preparing to publicize the significance of the Boxing Act to all boxing camps and alter some regulations that are no longer applicable. And that's all the time we have for tonight's edition of Thai PBS English News Service. Thank you so much for watching. I'm Suwajong Klin Sawan. Sawasdee krap.